Well, I'm the son of a Tuskegee Airman. My father was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. When I was a kid, my father wanted to build a garage, a brick garage in our backyard. And I think I was about maybe 10 or 11 years old. And so he made me carry all the brick and mix all the mortar and, and help build, the garage. And one day it was like 90 degrees outside and I was like, I don't want this. I'm tired. I'm going to quit. So my father took it as an opportunity of being able to talk to me about adversity. And he told me, he said, son, he says, you have to look at this in a different light. You have to see it as a blessing in disguise. Now, I'm only 11 years old, and I'm going, that doesn't even make sense to me. And so he says, okay, I'll tell you what. Do you get stronger lifting more weight or less weight? I said, more weight. He said, absolutely. He said, if you can face the adversity of life's trials, you will grow stronger. And then he told me a saying that I'll never forget. And he said, adversity incites talent that in more prosperous days would lay dormant. And when I asked him where he got that from, he says, we adopted that phrase as Tuskegee Airmen because we had to deal with the racism and the other forms of racism that, quite frankly, were designed to defeat them. And he told me that they had put twice as much on them, hoping that they would fail. It was an experiment. They called it the Tuskegee experiment. And they put twice as much on them, hoping that they would fail. But because they didn't buckle under twice of the adversity, they actually became twice as good. Maya Angelou said that you don't know where you're going unless you know where you came from. And one of the reasons why, the Tuskegee Airmen are a success story that needs to be told. They actually, one of the more insidious things about slavery and Jim Crow laws was the cessation of the passing down of generational wisdom and wealth. And each generation is responsible to the next generation by passing on what they have learned. So the Tuskegee Airmen, 688, the Hidden Figures, all of them had to deal with the adversity and they pressed through it. So that's a good lesson to pass on to the next generation, that press through the adversity, because on the other side of that adversity is a blessing that you would have received, that you would have not received had you not pressed through the adversity. So events like this demonstrate what happens when you stay strong. Okay, face the adversity head on and understand that on the other side you will become better as a result of your determination. I'm hoping I'm speaking to the youth, okay, because I'm asking all of them, go back to your parents, go back to your grandparents, and if you're real lucky, go back to your great-grandparents. Because what you're going to find is that they have a wealth of accomplishments that never reach the light of day. And that's important because they create rungs in the ladder of life that you can step upon, and then it becomes your responsibility to create the next rung, and so forth and so on. So I'm hoping that, as we unveil or uncover some of the other accomplishments that we've made as African Americans and people of color, that people will come to understand that we're all the same. We're all just the same. The Tuskegee Airmen weren't better because they were black. They were better because they faced adversity. Martin Luther King said it right. It's not about color, it's about character. Okay? So let's hope that, in the next generation that we're going to continue to unveil and uncover those things that have happened in the past that prove that we're just as worthy as anyone else.